guys, it's Eric from HelpfulGuidesOnline.com. Today is part one, the first part of the Chromebook series. I've gotten some questions lately about the Chromium OS and Chromebooks in general, and I'm going to attempt to answer some of those questions using my personal Chromebook desktop. What we're looking at right here is the desktop on my Chromebook. I'll show you what the Chromebook looks like. My Chromebook happens to be an Acer CB311. It's a low to mid-end Chromebook, but it performs really, really well for me. It's built around the Chrome browser, which we're in right now. You'll see this is just the standard Chrome browser. I've added a million extensions, obviously, that I use for development and what have you, but the Chrome browser that we're all used to. It's fairly secure, fairly fast, customizable enough. If you go to chrome.google.com, it's the Chrome web store, you'll see all kinds of apps and extensions for Chrome that are free. Well, the vast majority of them are free. Some are subscription models, but the vast majority are free. There's somewhat of an issue with the signal to noise ratio. Some of these apps are very, very useful, others much less so. So kind of a trial and error thing there. I'll show you just at random. One of the super useful ones is something called Pixlr. And this is an image manipulation program that is very much like GIMP. It's more user-friendly, though. It's totally cloud-based, and it's going to do anything you really need to do with images and multiple layers and what have you. It's an awesome little piece of software. So there are all those things. There are some extensions that I would recommend you not live without. This is a key one, is uBlock Origin. You can just search uBlock Origin. This is the best ad blocker in the world for Chrome OS. Also, there's the Get Them All file extension for downloading files. There's a whole other tutorial on helpfulguidesonline.com about this particular browser extension. That's how useful that is. Show you some of the other things going on. If you live in the Google ecosystem like I do, you obviously have access to all the Google goodies. You have Drive, and there's Gmail, obviously, and your calendar. And if you're like me, you live around your calendar. You've got Google Docs and Sheets and the PowerPoint analog for Google and all that other stuff. If you use development stuff, I do a lot of stuff in a lot of coding in Carrot. There are other IDEs and SDKs and editors out there that you can use. It's a pretty good class of programs to choose from. I will mention at this point that if you use an IDE like Eclipse, for example, you can't just run Eclipse under Chrome OS. What you can do is you can run an installation of Linux alongside Chrome OS and then just run it in a tab. You can do that. But there are generally workarounds for almost everything you do. Again, at a later point, I'm going to have a tutorial on how to set up a cheroot and run Linux right alongside your Chrome desktop. So you have both a Linux machine and a Chrome OS machine at the same time at your disposal. It's a neat little feature here where you can just look at all the stuff that we have open. And as you can see, I've got quite a few programs running. This thing has only got 2 gigabytes of RAM, but it doesn't stutter very much. It soldiers right along, and it hardly ever crashes. And I've modified it quite a bit. So this is, basically the stuff that you're used to seeing. There's a launcher that is right here. And if we look at all the apps, I have quite a few things installed here. We can take a look at the first page. There's all the Google Office stuff that I just mentioned in the intro, the forms and sheets and drawings and Gmail and yada, yada, yada. I have a whole bunch of media players. These are just ones that I particularly like and have downloaded. The Chromebook does really, really well with media. For development, tons of code editors. Shift Edit is just absolutely awesome. Carrot I mentioned, and CodeEnvy is a good program too. Again, lots of stuff you can run, all kinds of utilities. It's a pretty full-featured thing. The only thing, the caveat that I would mention again is if you run a whole bunch of Linux programs, you're probably going to need a Linux install to run alongside. If you have Windows programs that you live with, you're going to need to find an alternative, either web-based or what have you, because EXEs simply won't run in the Chrome environment. Anyway, that's just a first look at the Chromebook. There are going to be more additions in this series, and I appreciate your time in hanging with me and just taking a look. Thank you guys so much. Have a good one. Again, it's Eric from HelpfulGuidesOnline.com. Have a good one.